People who asked for a pencil every single day in school. What happened? There was this kid in my AP history class, Marcus, who would walk in every morning at exactly 7:55 with absolutely nothing except this beat-up black hoodie and ask, "Anyone got a pencil I can use?" Same question, same hopeful expression, every single day for 3 months. Marcus would go desk to desk with this quiet desperation until someone finally handed one over, and he'd guard that pencil like his life depended on it. I started bringing extras because watching him get rejected by half the class felt cruel. During lectures, Marcus would be scribbling frantically in the margins of whatever paper he could find, taking notes so detailed they covered every inch of space. "There goes Marcus begging again," Jessica would whisper, but even she'd eventually give him one of her fancy mechanical pencils. The weird part was how protective he was of whatever pencil he got. He'd clutch it during the entire class, never letting it leave his sight, and at the end of each period, he'd carefully slide it into his hoodie pocket like it was precious cargo. One morning, he asked me for a pencil, and I noticed his hands were shaking slightly. When I handed it over, he whispered, "Thank you," so quietly, I almost didn't hear it, but there was something in his voice that made me look at him differently. That afternoon, I saw him in the library, hunched over a table covered in textbooks, still using the same pencil I'd given him hours earlier. He was working on calculus problems, then switching to chemistry equations, then writing what appeared to be an English essay. 3 different subjects, all with the same borrowed pencil. Then one day, Marcus didn't show up. A week passed, then 2 weeks, and I genuinely worried something bad had happened to him. I asked Mrs. Rodriguez where he went, and she got this strange look on her face. Marcus got accepted to Harvard on a full scholarship. He scored a perfect 1600 on the SAT. I stared at her in disbelief. The kid who couldn't afford a pencil got into Harvard? The next part hit me like a truck. Turns out Marcus had been living in his car with his mom after they got evicted from their apartment 6 months earlier. They'd been staying in different parking lots each night, trying to avoid police and keep Marcus enrolled in school. His mom worked 2 jobs but still couldn't afford basic school supplies, and Marcus refused to let anyone know their situation because he didn't want pity. Every pencil we gave him was used to complete homework assignments worth hundreds of points each, and he'd been maintaining a 4.0 GPA the entire time while essentially being homeless. Mrs. Rodriguez showed me his final essay titled "The Weight of a Pencil," about how each borrowed pencil represented hope and the difference between giving up and pushing forward. It got him into Harvard, but here's the part that made me tear up. Marcus had kept track of every single person who had ever given him a pencil throughout the semester. He'd written down names, dates, and even what type of pencil it was. In his admissions essay, he thanked each of us by name and described how our small kindnesses had contributed to his success. Last I heard, Marcus graduated summa cum laude and works for a nonprofit providing school supplies to homeless students. He still sends thank you cards to everyone who ever gave him a pencil, signed, "Property of your kindness."